Ready? Or maybe not. And welcome back to another benchmark, but wait, this is not a benchmark. Actually, this is a special video, slightly different from my usual ones, but to be honest, I have to say that Ready or Not is the most intense first-person shooter I have ever played, aside from the performance showcase that I will be demonstrating on 4 GPUs, GTX 1660, RTX 2060, 3060 Ti, and RTX 4060. We'll also go through some aspects of Ready or Not that I found interesting, and the reason why I highly recommended to you to give this game a try. So let's get started. Even though Ready or Not came a few years ago, it recently caught my attention. Frequent updates and high ratings pull me in, you know. But what really makes it stand out is co-op gameplay. While games like SWAT 4 are now just memories, Ready or Not will let you team up with friends and random online players, but usually it's because you can play with friends. And Ready or Not is not really traditional first-person shooter. This game is all about realism and tactics, so every mission feels like a real law enforcement operation. One mistake can mean failure, 2 shots and you're dead. And of course, be careful where you step. There might be a mine right on the other side of the door. That can be a problem for you. So moments in Ready or Not are kinda weird, but it's actually slow, forcing players to think before they act. While sprinting carelessly into a room isn't an option, you must branch it carefully, clear corners, and use cover efficiently. Otherwise, you are dead. So let's try to be more professional now. So these cooperative aspects of the game adds a whole new layer of intensity, as every mission requires precise communication, coordination, and quick decision making. Unlike many run-and-gun shooters, Ready or Not punishes reckless behavior and rewards patience, strategy, and teamwork. Not exactly my greatest virtue, but I will give it a shot with the help of my cousin, who's an expert in this game. Maybe it's a bit desirable to do a benchmark as well, since you clicked on benchmarks, so I will start with GTX 1660. I'm using an i7-10700, which is overkill, but that doesn't matter. You'll get the same frame rate with i5-10400, since this doesn't seem to be a CPU intensive game. The game is made in Unreal Engine 4. The average frame rate at the end of the test is around 17, which is more than solid considering I'm using high settings without upscaling or frame gen at 1080p. My GPU temperature is kinda higher, but let's ignore it because it doesn't affect the performance. The core clock is stable, just like memory clock, which I didn't show, but you can see the power usage, which is totally okay. Since gigabytes of VRAM is kinda tight, so the game uses around 7 gigabytes of RAM, which is solid. You will need 16 gigabytes of RAM for this setup to get the same frame rate.
Talk to lead. Coroner standing by.
Since the game features a solid arsenal of SWAT-style weapon and gear, you get pistols, shotguns, SMGs, assault rifles, and non-lethal options like beanbag shotguns and tasers, of course each with a tactical purpose. So customization is key here. Players can add suppressors, flashlights, scopes, and grips to match their playstyle. But it's not just about preference, it's about missions, so some attachments help in low light areas, while others can improve controlling high pressure situations.
Okay, get down! What the fuck?
What really makes Ready or Not stand out is sound design and animation. Gunfire feels powerful,
Talk. We have a civilian down here.
reload are smooth and detailed, and every shot adds to the intensity, so attention to detail makes combat both impressive and nerve-wracking. So let's show that benchmark on RTX 2060. This model comes with 6GB of VRAM GDDR6, it's from EVGA, and I'm testing it with the i7 3700. It can be an overkill, but since it's not CPU intensive game, you should get the same frame rate with something like i5 11th generation should be enough. And I think I should have used 1080p high, but I set it to Epic or Ultra, since Epic is used because the game is made in Unreal Engine 4 and Unreal comes from Epic company, so interesting fact if you didn't know. I didn't use 1080p high, but I know it's about 20% stronger than GTX 1660, so you will definitely have over 80 frames per second on 1080p high, and this is 1080p pure resolution without upscaling or frame generation, and I got around 55 frames at average at the end of the video, which is more than playable in my opinion, while in some moments it drops to 40, but that is in the most demanding scenes, and I think that's perfectly fine. The game is tactical and it feels more like a slow first-person shooter rather than a running shooter. Overall solid performance. 1080p high would be over 80 frames per second at average, I said. Probably a minimum would be 60, maybe 55. At least I have slightly better temperatures than GTX 1660, which is in this case around 70 degrees Celsius. Of course, the game uses almost of the VRAM, which isn't exactly ideal, but since we don't have 12GB of version, even though it would handle it better and likely have slightly more stable performance without frame drops when VRAM gets close to the max. So that's pretty much it. Let's talk about missions. And missions in Ready or Not are designed to test your decision-making skills in high-risk scenarios. You might be tasked with securing a hostage situation, or clearing out a drug den, or neutralizing an active shooter threat, but each objective comes with its own challenges, requiring adaptability and strategic planning. One of the game's standout features is the unpredictability of its AI. Unlike scripted shooters, where the enemies follow predictable patterns, the suspects in Ready or Not react dynamically. So some may surrender immediately when confronted, while others will pretend to comply before suddenly pulling a weapon. Others may attempt to flee, forcing you to chase them down. And this unpredictability extends to civilian behavior as well. Some will panic and refuse to follow orders, while others might get caught in the crossfire, and if you are not careful, of course. So these elements create an atmosphere where you can never be too sure of what will happen next, keeping players on the edge through every mission. Just like this unpredictable video of mine, which you probably never plan to watch on my channel, because it's mix of gameplay and benchmarks, so now it's time for the RTX 3060 Ti. And yeah, this model unfortunately comes with 8GB of VRAM, even though 12GB would have been nice, since 8GB of VRAM isn't matched by today's standard, but it's enough for Ready or Not. So considering this is a primarily 1080p card, I used 1080p without upscaling or frame generation on Epic or Ultra settings. I got around 109 frames at average by the end of the test, which is quite impressive in my opinion. So this tells us that the game will mostly like run at 1440p, ultra rapid with 60 plus, which is excellent, great optimization, stunning graphics. What more do you need? I believe that even 4K high with DLSS quality could stay above 60 frames per second, but let's not overdo it. So this GPU still has only 8 GB of VRAM, so it's not perfect, but it is what it is. We can also notice that the game uses 6 GB of RAM, which suggests that in previous video where I used 6 GB of VRAM card, it was used like 7.5 GB of VRAM, so VRAM was lacking because we were using GPUs with 16 GB of VRAM, so 16 GB of VRAM is definitely not enough since it will use shared memory. That's why in the previous video where I tested GTX 1660 and RTX 2060, I got like 1.5 GB of RAM more than now usage. Overall, this is more than playable, and I recommend a 1080p Epic or 1080 and 1080. No, it's actually 1440p Epic with DLSS quality for the best performance. You really can go wrong here, you know. So let's talk about graphics and atmosphere. From a visual standpoint, Ready or Not does an excellent job of creating a grifty, immersive world, almost like you are walking through the movie set. But one where things can go wrong any second. The lighting system is especially impressive, making low light environments feel tense, where you can see like nothing, except if you have flashlight and night vision, which are of course your best friend when you are trying to not get lost or shut in the dark. While sound design plays a big role in making the game feel real.
Police, fucking move!
Gunfire echoes in the different places, footsteps make you feel tense as you move around.
Down on your goddamn knees now! Stay down and turn around.
And the screams of civilians raise the stakes. It's like you are really in high-risk mission where every noise could be the difference between life and death. The level design is also really well done. There are all sorts of places to explore, from old motels to huge factories, each with different layouts and way to get in. Plus destructive environments, like breaking doors, smashing windows and destroying cover, make every fight feel unpredictable and exciting. Just like this video. Of course, if you didn't fall asleep while waiting for the RTX 4060 benchmarks, but here it is, the RTX 4060, 8 GB of VRAM version, the only one available, a solid card for 1080p gaming. And yeah, you probably noticed that I paired it with the i7-3700 again, but it doesn't matter, both the RTX 4060 and the 3060 Ti will work fine with an i5 12400, giving you fully used GPU at the same frame rate as in the video. As I mentioned, I'm using 1080p Epic settings, and this model runs pretty cool around 60 degrees Celsius. And for the reference, this is the MSI Ventus X2 model. MSI cards, AMD or NVIDIA, tends to stay cool, and I usually choose MSI for that reason, because their temperatures are really low. And, I mean, that's really great temperatures. Whether it's Mac X2, Ventus X2 or even X3, it's always low. The frame rate in the game is just perfect. At the end of the video it will be around 88 frames per second at average. I recorded the benchmark for about 7 minutes, so for those 7 minutes the average frame rate is 88. I'm using the capture card, so as always, no frame rate drops. What else I can say? Yeah, we can see that CPU usage is a bit higher. Maybe with an i5 12th gen you get 100% GPU usage and around 50 or 60 CPU usage. I believe that 1440p high with DLSS quality would easily run over 60 frames per second. But at the end, you always have frame generation. Of course, if anyone wants them, but honestly, it's not necessary, at least in this game. It's more than playable.
Element to talk. We have one dead suspect here.
Talk to lead. Continue with your mission.
And of course, if you have any CPU bottleneck, you can always increase your resolution to 1440p to use high settings instead of ultra to get higher frame rate, and eventually you can use DLSS quality balanced or something like that. I think that would be better at this point. Playing Ready or Not solo is fine, but co-op is where the game really shines. With friends, teamwork feels like more natural, because real players can communicate, they can plan, and they can react in the ways the AI simply cannot. Setting up before breaching a door, covering different angles, and executing a plan smoothly is just super satisfying. While multiplayer adds more tension because mistakes matter. Unlike AI teammates who just follow orders, real players can hesitate, miss shoots, or get caught, making every match feel different, and good communication is key to success. Otherwise, no communication and you're just dead. That said, co-op can be frustrating if players don't work together. So this organized team can feel fast, reckless move, or just poor communication can turn everything into chaos, like I said. No communication and again, you're dead. But if you have a solid squad that loves tactical gameplay, Ready or Not is one of the best co-op first-person shooter experience out there.
Element to talk. We have
One of the best, definitely.
Element, this is Talk. Trailer's ready. Element,
Please,
this is
I
Talk.
can't feel my hands.
Score one for the good guys. Good work, everyone.